Hey everyone, how you doing? Welcome back to Train Life, and we are post-patch. You'll have seen the video I did, post-patch, all about the patch, everything that was in the patch, and it was a pretty good patch, to be honest. And I thought today we would do a passenger run. We're in the NEWAG Griffin, which is the expensive train that you can buy with your saved up credits. You can see up the top right hand corner I've got 8.6 million. That's not a problem with my career account. So all my employees have got pretty high spec trains as well. The money does rack up when you've been playing it for over 80 hours. But here we are anyway in Innsbruck. It's night time, 23:38 at night. We're going to have a run down hopefully to Salzburg. Because as you know, this is one of my favourite areas of the map, and by the time we arrive in Salzburg it should be daytime. So this is the passenger boarding track. So don't forget, if you're new to the game, you see these orange arrows pointing down. When you arrive at a station, you do need to be on that passenger pickup track to allow passenger operations to take place. So what we'll do first, we'll just nip into the map view and we'll set up a GPS to take us from Innsbruck Main over to Salzburg Main. It's not that far, it's about 30 minutes, maybe slightly less, but it's a nice run there through Austria, Salzburg. So now we've set the GPS, we can open the doors. Remember, that's the proper order to do it. Once the GPS knows where you're going, it can board you some passengers that are destined for that route. If you try to board without doing the GPS, it doesn't know where you're going. So just remember that. There is a video on the channel which shows that in a bit more detail. I'll link to that up in the top right hand side. So we've picked up some passengers. So if you go to company and my train, you can see here, this confirms it. We've got 18 passengers that are going to Salzburg, so we know that the boarding has worked. So always do that as well, so that you know. Let's get underway. Lots of snow on the ground in this area of the map. Now, see, these two things are the biggest things for me in the patch. The distance there to Salzburg Main, you can see it's 32, just over 32 kilometres. And the distance to the next signal down the bottom right. Those are the main two changes for me that have made a massive difference in this patch. I felt like beforehand, not having the distance to the destination felt to me, after playing Train Sim World for so long, felt like I was driving blind, and I didn't really know where the destination was without having to keep flicking up the map. I don't need to flick up the map now as much. I still do it because I like to see, you know, the areas that I'm passing through, but what a big difference that's made. And I don't know how hard that was to implement, but certainly for me, that is one of the two best items in that patch. So here we are, just pulling out of Innsbruck. It's coming up to 12:30, half midnight. The other thing that's working for me as well, that you'll notice as we go along the route, is the mini map is auto zooming in and out. It wasn't doing that before. That had never worked for me, unfortunately. Even though I had it set correctly, it wasn't working, so I quite like that. Now where's this approaching train? The block is blue. So I've changed the direction. You can see the train must have passed us ahead, because if you look at the next icon next to the right of the minimap, you can see the first block is blue, the second block is blue, so the train has passed. Or it's probably gone across the front of us down another route. Let's check it out. Yes, it's there on the left hand side, so as long as we keep to the right, then we're okay. This is new as well, so using the horn, previous to the patch, I don't know about you guys that have been playing this, but it would always ask me to sound the horn if there are animals on the track. But at a level crossing, you can hear the crossing. You can hear the bell of the crossing. At a level crossing, it didn't always ask me to do that, and I don't think I got a penalty. Maybe I did get a penalty if I didn't do that. But since the patch, it is very keen on you blowing the horn at every single level crossing. So keep that in mind as well. So 29 kilometres to go. You can see the mini-map actually zooming now. Can you see it zooming out? You can see it zooming out. So we've got a bit more of a bird's eye view now of what's going on around us. That's brilliant. And the font is still large enough to read, which is good. But you can see how that's zoomed out now. Now we've left the sort of city zone. We've zoomed out, and there's our employees. Our employees are checking in. They're working for me on different parts of the map, levelling up the different cities. I've got a couple of production lines set up for steel sheets and bread, for example. I've got all 10 employees working, and I'm just letting them carry on in the background whilst I'm showing you this. I don't think I have an objective to take passengers to Salzburg. For levelling up the city, we'll check when we get to the end. But I just wanted to show you Salzburg. I've been to Salzburg before. I think I've even mentioned it on a previous video. Salzburg is one of my favourite areas in the map. You'll see when we get there. Salzburg Main is the end of the line. You know, similar to Paris, you've got to turn the train around to come back the other way once you get there. But you'll see, hopefully we will be daylight by the time we get to Salzburg, so you'll see exactly what I mean about the scenery. It's got its own distinctive look, and there is a sort of chateau, we should call it, not a castle. It's a chateau, isn't it? There's a chateau up on the mountain behind the station. So I'll use that screenshot as a thumbnail actually for this video, so you'll be able to see the chateau behind the station. So doing okay time wise, still 25 kilometres to go. I was looking down the Discord, and a lot of you guys that are in the Discord were saying that you were struggling a little bit with the new physics. So getting yourself up the hills and down the hills, it was running away with itself. Then one of the users in the Discord who also follows the channel, Suggs, actually made a good point, and that is that he was suggesting that if your locomotives are upgraded in the service centre, so you know in the service centre you can upgrade your engine, the chassis, the bogie, etc, etc. There's all sorts of power improvements you can make. If you've got your loco upgraded, then you may find that you don't have issues with gradients. Now, pretty much all the locomotives I've got are fully upgraded, as I mentioned at the beginning. This one definitely is. This is an expensive locomotive to begin with, but I got so much money at the top. There is a trophy for owning 25 different parts for the various trains. So I was really working on that and buying various parts so I could get the trophy for that. But this is one of the first trains that I did rank up and upgrade fully. And as far as the gradients goes, he could be right, because I've had no issues with going up the new gradients with the new physics since the patch. So I think that could be a thing. I know that on the Discord a couple of users have asked Simteract just to confirm if that's the case, but before the patch, you see, there didn't seem to be any real incentive to upgrade your locomotive. So for example, adding a new engine, for example, it might give you a faster acceleration, but speed wise you need to work to the speed limits on the track, don't you? So it didn't make any difference there. Bogies, again, I wasn't really sure before the patch what difference that's make, but actually with the physics upgrade in the game, it does make sense that there is a an upgradable area for each loco. So that's a really good improvement. And here's some snow. We're going to go plough through this. It just slows us down slightly. It doesn't really do anything, that. So if you are struggling with the gradients, just take a look at what money you've got up in the top right hand corner. See if you can purchase a few upgrades. Maybe do a run that you're struggling with. Then go into the service centre. You need to do it from the service centre. Make a few upgrades, then run that same run again, and see if it makes any difference. I'd be interested to know that. I was always fully upgraded before the patch, so it was difficult for me to say I would need to buy a new loco from scratch and test it. So just over 20 kilometres. .2:48 AM. It's actually gone a little bit darker than it was. Let's just check the minimap. Yeah, we're about halfway there, I would say. Probably not quite halfway. What was it? 30? It was 32, wasn't it? 32 kilometres was the full run. So we've got 19, nearly 20 left. Scott Douglas has delivered 20 passengers to Paris. So if you're into the career mode, I know some of you guys just looking on the Discord and reading the comments to these videos, some of you play it a bit different. Some of you have been off unlocking the whole map. Not unlocking. Unlocking is the wrong terminology, isn't it? It's discovering the map. I think I'm still in the... I think I'm around 92% discovered. You have to visit everywhere yourself once. And you need to do that because if you don't, your employees can't visit those locations. So make sure you always visit those yourself first. Now, some of you played it like me. I kind of stuck to one area to begin with and tried to rank up the cities. But what I would say is, don't try and do all that yourself. Make sure as soon as you're able to employ up to the full 10. I think we can have 10 employees. I think that's the maximum. But do try to hire 10 people if you can afford to provide each one with a loco. And most of mine, I must admit, have got the salt skitter, the standard loco that you get at the beginning of the game. Most of them have got those, and as I said, they're all upgraded. But I mean, you can assign any loco or unit to them, but get them, work on a certain area of the map. Would be my suggestion. I've got a lot of guys working on the left hand side of the map around the French area, and then move across. So I'm kind of working on my own down here in Salzburg. I can't remember how I ended up down here. I did bring some cargo down this end to begin with, and then I've sort of hung around because of the scenery, and I've also been to Vienna. I think you saw me go to Vienna on the Orient Express video that I did recently on the channel. So depends. It's a big map. Depends on which way you want to do it. But I'm having really good fun sending out the employees to do the work for me. It's really nice when it comes up there in the top right and on the tablet to say that one of your employees has done a job. But not only that, they rank up. We're trying to get everybody, I think, to rank 25 because there are trophies to get. Is it at least 2 drivers? I can't remember the exact requirement. There is a requirement to get a couple of drivers up to rank 25. So they'll busily go off and do that. And what you have to do periodically is just go back in and just check the cities that they're delivering to, just to make sure that just to see if the requirement has been met, and then if it has, you can change the job that they're on. So I tend to do that every sort of couple of hours playtime, so that people are not delivering things and over delivering. And here is a deer. So they're up in the top right. Max he's up to level 7, and he's got a perk point. Starting to get light, isn't it? 14 kilometres away. Just after 4 AM. thanks to everybody that responded to the last video, which was called "You Should Try This" or "You Must Try This." There's a couple of suggestions on there about routes that I could run, so I'm going to take a look at those. But yeah, any suggestions you've got for any places on the map where you've been, where you quite enjoyed it, let me know that in the comments. Any suggestions for any future videos you want me to do, then also likewise drop that in the comments, because I read every comment, so I will get to see it there. You can always hit me up on the Discord as well if you're part of the Train Life Discord. So just over 12 kilometres, making good progress. We've got the lake over on the left hand side, so you can just start to see the sunrise over that mountain in front. You can just see it starting to, the sky starting to have a tinge of pink, and this is what I was hoping. I was hoping you would see the sunrise in this area of the map, because it's pretty special. So we should see that. So we've got a 70 coming up right at these boards. And we're not far away really at all. That 32 kilometres, actually, it is a very relaxing game, this, and it's very enjoyable. And I've said it before that when you can see the distance you've got on the particular run that you're doing, you can settle down. You can get your feet up, settle down, say, right, 32 kilometres, here we go. And just enjoy it. You know, just enjoy it. We've talked about this before, that this game is very, you know, it's more of an arcade style than hardcore simulator. So as such, you know, there's less pressure to get everything right first time. You can't make any mistakes in this. Just enjoy it, and that's the real difference for me for this game. And you know, the team keep pushing out the improvements. It's just a small team working on Train Life, but you know, the devs are, well, more than open to suggestions, and Mike, the community manager, also is very good. And it's good that it keeps improving, so I'm looking forward to the next game as well, which is the taxi game, which hopefully may be out around this time next year for consoles. Let's wait and see. So we've got the sunrise coming up. We do have a train in front of us. Let's just keep an eye on this. So cannot proceed. The next block is a red. Now, have we got a crossing before we meet the train? I think we've got a crossing right in front of it. Yeah, we have. Let's go left. Yes, you see the red signal there on the right. We've got a red signal on the right. Now we've changed to the left. You can see the next information has gone blue, blue. So we can clear this train now. That's good. I'm still never quite sure why the trains are on our side of the track to begin with, unless they've had to avoid something that we can't see yet, which has forced them onto the other side. But you know, with us thundering down, you would think they wouldn't do that. They'd wait until we came through and then do it. But anyway, there's another one of our drivers completed another job. You can see just on this small run, with the amount of drivers I've got, just how much work those drivers are doing for me. And I'm quite happily just showing you this passenger run, which has no real objective in the game and won't really contribute much to career mode. But I know that while I'm running this and having some fun with you guys, those employees are actually doing the real work and helping me get my cities ranked up. I think what I would like with that, talking about the cities, is you've got to keep going back to the world map, and not the world map, next to the world map. In the world map tab there is a cities tab, and it's in there where you can see what rank each city is. Now if my employees are delivering to a certain city, it would also be nice, I think, if a city suddenly goes to level 2, I would like to see that pop up on the screen as well to tell me, you know, Paris is now at level 2, and that would then force me to bring up the details and change the jobs for my drivers. Something that will prompt me more regularly to do that, if that makes sense. We don't currently get a prompt when a city is upgraded, but that's just something for the future. You can see the castle there up on the left approaching now. We're just under 7 kilometres away, but that is where Salzburg station is. So we're not far away. Got Salzburg warehouse coming up. I've still got my lucky cat there on the dashboard. I think that's the only one I've got. I must have a couple more. I must have bought a couple more, but that is my favourite. So that one, I take that one with me wherever I go, generally. Just looking there to see if Salzburg Main has appeared on the radio yet, but we're not close enough. I don't know if there is a certain distance. Maybe it's 5 kilometres. Don't know if that is the case where it will first appear. But you can see the castle there, or chateau. It's covered in a kind of fog as well. It's got a mist around the turrets there. It's quite a nice effect. Coming up on 5 kilometres. Nothing down the bottom right yet about a speed change. 80 is the current limit that we've got. So we're starting to get into the buildings of Salzburg. Now, is Salzburg a town or is Salzburg a city? I'm not familiar with Salzburg, but it doesn't look very unless I can't see over to the left. Oh, there we go. Yeah, it's fairly built up, isn't it? It could be a city. Surrounded by mountains. Very nice scenic area. So we've got an approaching train. So the next SIG block information does say we can't proceed.
How can I help you? You're clear to arrive. We'll mark tracks for you.
So I'm expecting a red. I've just called it in now that Salzburg Main has appeared. So now they're expecting us. We can go straight in. Yeah, we've actually got a double red right here, so we need to wait at this signal. So there you can see how useful that information is at the bottom. It says cannot proceed, so you know to expect something. After this red there is a blue, so we just need to get through this. The train's approaching 300, just over 300 meters away. Those of you that are playing on Xbox, I know previously you had a lot of problems. If you are watching this and you're an Xbox player, how is the patch for you? Has the patch cured a lot of the issues you're experiencing before? I know in some cases it was, unfortunately, it was unplayable for some of you guys. I didn't see anything Xbox specific, I don't think, in the patch notes, but a lot of the general fixes could have sorted it out for you. So let me know. I'll be interested to know about that. There's the train. So this signal should clear. We should be able to proceed. There we go. Hopefully now we're clear right into Salzburg. Just keep an eye on any speed changes. We will be expecting a 50, of course, as we get towards the sort of outer limits of the station. Nothing showing in the hood yet. Perhaps a bit too far out yet. So once we get to Salzburg Main, the other thing, of course, is that we need to be on the passenger drop-off track. So at the moment we're showing the distance to the station there on the left, but if I press the pad, once we get nearer, there we go, we'll press that, it will now then change to the blue line. The blue line is then directing us to the correct track. So once you've called it in on the radio and you've been given access, you can actually press the pad. This is on PlayStation. You press the pad and it will put you on the correct track. Now I can flick between those. If I still want to know how far away the station is, I can flick that back and get the actual measurement, distance measurement. But that is where you need to be, because if you try to do it manually by zooming in and looking for those downward orange arrows we saw at the beginning, it can be quite difficult to spot those depending which station you're at. Some stations are busier than others and have more tracks. So always remember to press the pad or your equivalent button for whatever you're playing on, and it will take you to the correct track. So we're not far away at all. In fact, from memory, we're just around this corner and then we're into the station. There's a football stadium or something just there in front of us. So you see that poking out behind those buildings. And we just had the notification in the hood of the 50 speed limit change in just over 1,000 meters. There's the stadium just up on the left. And it is starting to build up now, buildings wise, isn't it, as we come into Salzburg. Tops of the mountains are a little bit more snow covered down this end. So good for the 50, we're already under the 50, no issues there, still 500 metres to go. Got the warning in the top right that we're coming into the station zone. You can see we're 1,000, we're a kilometre away, so I flicked it back now to the actual boarding line so that we're on the correct path. There's the chateau. So down in the minimap you can see the little 1 there, which is what we set up in the GPS right at the beginning. That's our final destination. So the blue V is for entering the station. That shows you must have requested access by the time you cross that blue V or you will get fined. So we're going all the way over to the right here. You can just see in the distance where the cursor mark is, you can see the orange V if you look closely. But this blue line will take us directly there without you having to manually look out for it. So this is Salzburg Main. You see what I mean? The castle up there, or chateau, it looks really good, this station. I think this is the second or third time I've been down this end and I always really like it. What is a shame is I wish, like TSW, we could kind of jump out and have a walk around. I'd love to have a walk around on this station, but I understand the kind of, development aspect of that and how long it would take to actually implement something like that. So that's fair enough. I can live with that. We've got new passenger animations in the patch as well. So the passengers are moving around a little bit more. They've got the suitcases there ready to board the train. See them there on the platforms waiting. So we can open the doors. You'll just see them actually opening. You'll see them on the coach if you look. You see the animation. Unfortunately, the camera doesn't allow you to get down the side to see that in better detail. I hope the camera gets fixed so we can, the flyby camera, we can get a bit further down the train to have a look. So the passengers dropped off. We actually got 25,000, just over 25,000 euro. We did it in 9 hours 21 in the system time. We got a bonus actually for being quick of 1.477. So in total, yeah, we got the 25,000. So we did all right with that. And that is the trip down to Salzburg in Austria. So I really hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. We've got more train life coming up. Hopefully you've all subscribed and you've got the bell clicked so you don't miss the next one. But until then, enjoy train life. See you on the next one.